Rashida and Jaleel Bell's mother's heart shattered when she discovered her daughter and son had both been shot to death here inside their Swissvale apartment. One day after their murders, police still have no idea who pulled the trigger.
Whoever was in the residence with them, they probably had knowledge of who they were, or they may have been a trusted friend or some type of a friend to them.
Hours later, police were called to a bar in Moon Township where they say this man, Alvin Griffey, shot and killed David Smith and wounded his girlfriend. Police have been following leads all day trying to track Griffey down. So far, no luck. David Smith's death marks the 18th homicide this year outside of Pittsburgh, but in Allegheny County. The Bells' deaths mark the 42nd and 43rd homicides this year in Pittsburgh, a number equal to the total number of homicides in all of last year. So why the recent rise in crime and violence in Pittsburgh? Khalid Rashid from the National Council for Urban Peace and Justice says, I think a lot of it has to do with the drug trade. The drug trade is very dominant within a lot of urban communities and neighborhoods, often because those communities have not experienced an economic growth. The drug business then becomes the underground economy. As the homicide rate climbs, so are the numbers of unsolved murders. When it comes to solving these murders, police say it is not a manpower issue, but it is an issue of getting witnesses to come forward and testify. Out of the 43 homicides this year, police admit there are 5 they have absolutely no idea who did the killing. In the other cases, they do have an idea, but they can't make arrests because witnesses won't come forward and testify. And no doubt, Rashida and Jaleel Bell's mother is praying a witness will come forward with information in her children's deaths.
Welcome to our memories of the past. The fatal shooting of 2 young siblings in Swissvale was believed by family members to be connected to gang violence, though investigators said at the time that no suspects or clear motive had been identified. 22-year-old Rashida Bell and her brother, Jaleel Bell, who was just weeks away from turning 21, were gunned down Saturday afternoon inside Rashida's third-floor apartment in what neighbors described as a quiet residential area. The attack left family members searching for answers and fearing that Rashida may have simply been in the wrong place at the wrong time. According to their cousin, Annette Aaron Jones, Jaleel Bell had arrived at his sister's apartment shortly before the shooting, accompanied by 2 men Rashida had never seen before. Visitors to the building had to be buzzed in, and there were no signs of forced entry, leading family members to believe the men entered willingly and possibly with Jaleel. Jones said she believed the shootings were related to a string of violent incidents that had taken place earlier in the summer on Lincoln Avenue. While she couldn't confirm whether Jaleel was involved in gang activity, she said it appeared he may have been set up, and that Rashida became an unintended victim. Swissvale Police Chief Dominic Nuzzo confirmed that gang involvement was one of several angles investigators were examining, though he emphasized that remained speculative. Allegheny County homicide detectives said they had no suspects and no confirmed motive. Rashida was on the phone with her mother around 4:30 p.m. when she mentioned that Jaleel had just arrived with 2 unfamiliar men. Moments later, her mother heard her scream and the phone line abruptly went dead. Police later found the phone smashed and the line ripped from the wall. Investigators believe Rashida attempted to flee the apartment. She was shot in the back, and her body was discovered at the top of the stairwell. Jaleel Bell was found inside the bathroom, in the bathtub, where police believe he had been preparing to take a shower. He had been shot in the head and chest. A .45 caliber semi-automatic handgun and spent shell casings were recovered from the apartment. Authorities said tests were underway to determine whether the weapon belonged to Jaleel or had been used in the killings. Court records reveal Bell had previous convictions for carrying a handgun without a license and for driving while intoxicated. Records also showed that his girlfriend had obtained a protection from abuse order against him the year before, alleging that he had threatened her life. She also claimed that someone had previously fired shots at her father and brother, though police could not confirm that incident. Adding to the case's grim symbolism was the recorded greeting on Jaleel Bell's cell phone, a quote from the 1993 film Menace Society that reflected an awareness of violent consequences. Investigators said it was unclear whether Jalil recorded the message himself or copied it from the movie. Rashida and Jalil grew up together in Pittsburgh's Lincoln-Leeming neighborhood and attended Westinghouse High School. Rashida had recently moved into her own apartment and worked nights cleaning downtown. Family members described her as quiet, hardworking, and involved in trouble. She was just trying to live her life. Their cousin said she didn't deserve this. Detectives urged anyone who knew the victim's friends, co-workers, or acquaintances to come forward, saying that understanding who Rashida and Jalil were might ultimately lead to answers about who killed them.